Rain lashed the windows of the grand Rutherford estate as Olivia Crane swept through the marble corridors with practiced elegance, in her sharp heels and crimson blazer. She radiated power, the youngest CEO of Crane Tech, a luxury conglomerate. Now partnered with the Rutherfords, she had been invited to their estate for a private investors' dinner. Though it felt more like a parade of egos than a negotiation, she didn't notice him at first. He stood near the entrance, still as a statue, dressed in the black and grey uniform of a private security detail. Clean-shaven, close-cropped dark hair, square jaw. His presence didn't demand attention. It absorbed it, quietly. His eyes scanned the room with a calm detachment, but they didn't linger. Until hers did. She glanced once, twice, then dismissed. Him, just another guard, she muttered to herself, adjusting the diamond pin on her lapel. A man meant to open doors, carry umbrellas, and disappear into the background. The kind of man who would never sit at her table. The night unfolded in polished opulence, champagne flowed, contracts were hinted at behind veiled smiles. Olivia was impeccable, until the storm outside cracked like judgment in the lights. Went out, a blackout. Panic flickered like fire in a dry forest. Someone screamed, a vase shattered. Olivia was halfway to the study to find the Rutherford matriarch when she collided, hard, with a soul. ID wall. Except it wasn't a wall. It was him, careful. He said, his voice slow and calm, oddly soothing amidst the chaos. "Watch where you're going," she snapped, brushing herself off, trying to see through the dark. "I was." He said coolly, "You're the one wandering." Blind. That tone. She straightened, offended. "Do you know who I am?" "I do," he said without blinking, "and right now. You're in danger." She narrowed her eyes. "Excuse me." But he was already moving. A burst of emergency light flickered from the hallway, and in that moment she saw something terrifying. Shadows moving where no one should be. Masked men. Guns drawn. Everything dropped from her. The wine in her hand. The pride in her voice. The guard grabbed her wrist. Firm but not cruel. "Come with me." She hesitated only a second before instinct. Survival. Took over. They ran. He moved like liquid steel. No hesitation. No fear. Every hallway, every turn, every door. He knew it. He wasn't fumbling with radios or fumbling keys. He was leading, calculating, protecting. She was out of breath by the time they reached the CERN's stairwell. You're just a guard," she said, chest heaving. He glanced at her. "Not exactly." "What does that mean?" He didn't answer, just motioned for silence. Footsteps. Men searching the upper floors. "Stay close to me." He whispered. They moved again. This time through the kitchen and down into the wine cellar. Once inside, he shut the heavy door and turned to face her. She looked at him fully for the first time and saw something cold and deep in his eyes, something scarred and ancient. "Who are you?" She asked, the words quieter now, more afraid than indignant. He paused, then said, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me." He looked at her like he was deciding whether or not to break a promise. "Name's Cain Rourke," he finally said. "Former intelligence field officer, Black Ops unit. Disavowed 6 years ago." She blinked. "That's not possible. I've been dead to the government since 2019. He said, his voice flat. "They don't train men like me to retire. They train us to vanish. But why are you here, playing guard?" "I'm not playing anything," he said, stepping closer. "Your name's been on the radar of some very dangerous people. You got too close to a funding trail someone buried deep. This dinner was a trap." Her face lost all color. I didn't know, no. He said, almost gently, you wouldn't. That's why I took this job. You took it from me. He looked away. Your father asked me to. My father died in a plane crash. That's what you were told. She staggered back. That's not. True, I served with him, Cain said, his voice low. He was one of the last good ones. When things got bad, when he refused to play along, they made it look like an accident. He told me, one day, they'll come for Olivia. Watch over her. So I did, quietly. Tears welled in her eyes. But she blinked them back. Suddenly, everything felt like paper. Her business, her titles, her power. All of it flimsy compared to what this man had lived through. The door above creaked. They're in the house, Cain said. This is going to get loud. I can't fight them. She said. No, he replied, pulling a weapon from a concealed holster at his back. But I can. He moved with surgical precision. 3 minutes later, the cellar door burst open and 2 men came down the stairs. She thought she might faint. But Cain didn't even flinch. His moves were fast. Brutal. Not showy, just deadly. Within seconds, both men were unconscious at his feet. He looked back at her. You all right? She nodded. Wide-eyed. Remind me never to underestimate you again. They moved upstairs slowly. The house was wrecked. Crystal chandeliers hung cracked. Paintings were ripped from walls. But the attackers were gone. More accurately, neutralized dot by dawn. The local police, clueless, fumbling, arrived, too late to be useful. King gave his report with practiced professionalism, but said nothing about the Black Ops past, or the secrets buried deeper than any vault. Later, as the staff cleaned up, and the guests were safely escorted away, Olivia found him standing outside, watching the sunrise. Where will you go now? She asked. He didn't look at her. Wherever I'm needed. But what if I need you? She said softly. That made him turn. He studied her face like it was a map he hadn't read in years. You're stronger than you think, he said. But if that day comes again, you know how to find me. Cain, she whispered, suddenly afraid he would vanish like smoke. He stepped closer. For one long second, their hands touched. Don't ever doubt yourself again, he said. You come from warriors. And then, without another word, he walked away. But Olivia Crane would never forget the guard she'd once dismissed. The man whose past, carved in blood and silence, had saved her life and shattered everything she thought she knew about the world and herself.